Budgeting, Lesson 7, Creating Your Budget. In this lesson, we're going to cover how to actually create your budget. As your grandparents would say, this is where the rubber meets the road. The more time you spend creating your budget, the higher the chances are that you're actually going to stick to it. Everybody's financial situation is different. There isn't a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to creating a budget. And just as an example, our situations are much different now than they were back when we were 18 or even when we were 25. I mean, back when I was 20, I was going to college and renting a room from a friend for $500 a month.
When I was 20, I had just returned home from Iraq, I had a 2-year-old son, and had just recently bought my first house. Having a kid early in life made me get serious real quick, and my financial situation was a lot different than his. The purpose of creating a budget is to make a plan that holds you accountable to yourself. Think of it as a guardrail so you don't drive off of the road. We're going to show you what a budget looks like using the 70-10-10-10 rule because that's what we recommended you use back in lesson 2.
If you apply the 70-10-10-10 rule with $2,000 a month of take-home pay, 70% to live on would be $1,400 a month. 10% would be for spending, that's another $200 a month. 10% for savings is $200 a month, and 10% for investing is $200 a month. Let's talk about the 70% to live on, which is $1,400 a month. In situation B, you have roommates, and your portion of monthly rent is $600. Renter's insurance is $15 per month, and your portion of utilities comes out to $100 per month. Your portion of the internet bill is $50, your phone bill is $100, you don't have a car payment, but your car insurance is $150 per month. You spend $150 per month on gas, getting to work or school or both, and you spend $200 per month on groceries. That puts you at $1,365 just to cover your bills and have food to eat at home. If you have more bills than this, you may need another roommate to help reduce how much you spend on rent, or you may need to get another part-time job to increase your income.
The first 10% of the 70-10-10-10 rule is for spending. That's $200 a month to help you stay sane. It will suck the life out of you if you just work to pay the bills and never have any fun. This $200 a month is going to go towards things like clothing, entertainment, having a life, or whatever makes you happy.
If you followed our advice and open up the multiple savings accounts, here's an example of how you could split that $200 a month into 3 different accounts. You could put $100 a month into a travel account, $50 a month into an emergency fund account, and $50 a month into a holiday account. Overall, you'd be saving $1,200 a year towards travel, $600 a year for emergencies, and another $600 a year for the holiday seasons. This is just an example. You can choose to allocate your money however you want based on your priorities.
The next 10% is for investing. That's $200 a month that you have automatically taken out of your paycheck and put into a 401k if your employer offers a retirement plan. If your employer doesn't offer a 401k, you can have this money set up to be transferred automatically into an IRA account or whatever type of account you choose to invest in. It's easy to put this one off and think that you can just start it later. But time is on your side when you're young, and you'll make a lot more money in the long run if you start putting this money away now.
When you eventually move out of your parents' house and you're out on your own, that's usually when people start to realize how expensive adulting really is. There's always the possibility that you could have to work a full-time job and maybe a part-time job on top of that just to get by. And sadly, that's a reality for a lot of people. Life isn't cheap, and that's why having a budget is so important. Even if you don't make much money, a budget can help you do the things that you want to do or save up for the things that are important to you.
The scenario we gave really depends on the cost of living where you're at, how many bills you have, and how many mouths you have to feed. It's a lot cheaper to pay for just yourself than if you have kids or parents that you're taking care of.
So far, you've learned about what a budget is, why it's important to have a budget, how to prioritize your expenses, and how to keep your budget relative. Now, it's time to actually create your budget.
We included a budgeting spreadsheet as well as a PDF if you need help estimating your expenses in the download section of this lesson. If you currently have a job and bills that you pay, apply the 70-10-10-10 to your take-home wages. Determine whether or not you can live on 70% and then make a plan for the other 30%. If you don't have a job or you don't have any bills yet, use the $2,000 a month example to see if you can afford the cost of living in your area. You might need to use different scenarios. Maybe you can't afford rent with just one roommate, and you need to split the rent with 2 or 3 other roommates in order to get by. If you have no clue how much bills will be, Google the cost of living in the city that you live in. This will give you a rough estimate of how much things will cost. You can use those numbers to plug into your budget for now.
If you don't know how much to put for rent because you still live at home, there's a lot of websites that you can use like rentcafe.com, rent.com, and apartment.com. Use the search location feature, type in your city, and find an apartment that's within your budget. There's a lot of options ranging from low to super high. Your budget is going to determine what you can afford and how many roommates you may need in order to make things work. Creating a budget will take time and effort, and it probably won't be fun, but it is the most important part of this entire module. So do yourself a favor and don't skip it. You'll need these skills for the rest of your life. The more detailed you can be with this, the more it's going to help you.